Welcome back to the show. Check out these headlines, ladies and gentlemen. IPOs in crypto 2026. We're going to hear from the New York Stock Exchange president. You're going to love it. CFTC, first regulated exchange to accept XRP and other crypto. We're going to talk about it. We got that and so much more. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back. Yeah. Happy Saturday morning, everybody. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and DigPerspectives.com for exclusive content. Right now, $3.14 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is off 0.6 in the last 24 hours. Bitcoin now dipped back below 90,000 at 89,800 plus. Ethereum holding over just over 3,000 right now. XRP slips down to the number 5 spot. We're at 204 and we're off 2.4 on the 24. We're off 7.4 on the 7-day. Looking at the range of price between 203 and 211. Ladies and gentlemen, that's where we are this morning. Let's get started right here. You're going to love this. Boom. Take a look at that. Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, think about this to anybody who lives in California and New York and all the weird taxation and wonky politics going on in those places. You could have a beautiful home for your family in the panhandle of Florida, which, by the way, has the same kind of clear blue green water as the Bahamas, but you don't have to leave the continental United States. And in fact, the taxes are much better there in the panhandle of Florida than on the west coast of California or certainly New York. And they're working on eliminating property tax. So, these properties are gorgeous. The water, the white, silky, sandy beaches. I'm telling you, I went down there with my family and I am so excited. The people are so nice and the food is amazing. But I tell you, it is this view that I'm looking for on the regular, ladies and gentlemen. These properties, that water is so gorgeous. It's unbelievable. And I tell you, whether you like fishing, boating, sailing, jet skiing, just being on the beach, like my family and I tell you, this is what we're really looking forward to. And you can too. And they have these beautiful properties that are starting, that they're showing right here, that you're seeing here. These properties are starting from the 560K, 560,000. And if you wanted to rent it out, you could make about 60,000 on these properties if you rent them out to offset your costs and still have the place of a lifetime. The property like they're showing here, this one here, I believe is about like 565 right now. And then they go all the way up in this particular range to some of them in here are 700,000. But they have all ranges of prices. I just showed some last week that were in the 300,000 range. So you can have a beautiful spot and you're getting an ocean view. You're looking over the Gulf of America right here. It's so beautiful. So make sure you check it out. No doubt about it. I know we got to get started, but go to gulfofamericaxrp.com. I absolutely do love this. And I know there's tons of other people getting in line. Get the number, sign up for the mailing list, call or text Daniel, and he will get you a tailored fit property or a list of properties that you're interested in for you and your family. Oh boy, here we go. Now we had to hear this. Of course we had to hear this. This is literally the definition of someone talking their book. Now it's kind of funny because Fox put up here Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP and Solana, while Kevin O'Leary is talking about only buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. All the other coins are poo-poo coins, he calls them.
Medicine. That's all you have to own to capture 90% of all of the crypto market's alpha or pricing volatility is simply Bitcoin and Ethereum. You don't need anything else. And so this is really hard medicine for all of the people that sponsored all of these other chains and other platforms, because now they face the reality, which I think is a cleansing, a good thing, a spatula cleaning from all that poo-poo coin out there that's just pure speculation. But it also says the maturity of the market is looking at the numbers, because the big money's about to come in. So if you were just in Bitcoin and Ethereum over the last 8 weeks, you've done so much better than own the poo-poo coins. And the poo-poo coins aren't going to come back unless they can give you a use case, and they have to have tens of millions of dollars in marketing.
Hey, fancy man, Mr. Kevin O'Leary, right? Mr. Wonderful. You just said if they don't have use case, you got nothing. I'm sorry, what does Bitcoin do again? Just because they're wealthy doesn't mean they're smart. This is a talking book scenario right here. And here shows some of the wave that's coming. And we're going to get into what's going on with the Clarity Act again as well today. Sony to accept stablecoin payments. Sony Group is reportedly preparing to launch a US dollar-backed stablecoin for digital games, subscriptions, and anime content as per the Nikkei. So this is moving forward, even though the feels like politically things are stalled here in the United States temporarily. But, be careful with that. Meanwhile, the ETFs crossed $1 trillion. Total assets under management in money. I'm sorry. Yeah, 1 trillion. Yeah, it's 1 trillion, right? Yeah, I believe it is. Well, no, it says it's 1 trillion and 1 billion. Now, hold on. Let me clarify this really quickly. It's 1 billion. What am I thinking? I want it to be a trillion. Listen, I didn't sleep well last night. It's just crossed 1 billion. I don't know where I got 1 trillion from. I just said feeling good, right? I'm not editing it out. It's 1 billion we crossed. I can't wait for 1 trillion though. Nonetheless, look at this that happened. And this has a very, very fun little connection. You're going to love it. Bitnomial becomes the first U.S. regulated exchange to accept stablecoins as margin collateral. We're launching support for real USD and expanding our accepted collateral to include XRP. This is regulated by the CFTC. Bitnomial just filed with the CFTC to list a new spot XRP USD contract set to go live on or after December 3rd. 2025. This is how real market structure gets built: regulated venues, transparent products, institutional access. Another step in bringing XRP into the core of U.S. markets. Is exactly right. Shout out to Bank. And then let's hear this clip about the news. And then Caroline Pham, the acting interim head at the CFTC.
Matt, crypto goes mainstream. The Commodities Futures Trading Commission announcing the launch of the first government-supervised crypto trading platform. It allows Americans to instantly buy, sell, and finance digital assets. Fox Business's Darren Botello, live in Washington with all the details. Darren, good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Maria. Of course, right now, as we all know, you can buy and sell crypto online already, but this is the first time, like you said, a spot trading platform is getting the full backing of the federal government. So why does this even matter to investors that the CFTC is backing this new Bitnomial platform? These other platforms are legally operating, but here's the catch, Maria. They're often called the Wild West. Basically, it's buyer beware. We've seen this with the collapse of FTX and customers eventually losing out on huge profits they would have had. Their money stayed safe in the market, they would have had it. Now with this Bitnomial platform, there are stricter standards for transparency, security, and consumer protection to prevent an FTX-style collapse. We spoke exclusively with acting CFTC Chairman Caroline Pham ahead of this new platform going live.
Listen.
Not only do we want Americans to come back home and to be trading here, where they know that they have the protections that they deserve. But again, that means that American companies that are involved in the crypto industry, they're going to want to build here. They're going to want to invest here. They're going to want to hire here. So this is overall a net benefit to the economy.
And Bitnomial tells us ahead of their announcement, the actual launch of the platform is set for next week. Maria?
There you have it. Next week it goes live and XRP will be available for that list in available cryptos and stablecoins. Yeah, I remind everybody that there is a relationship between the CFTC, Commissioner Pham, and Ripple, because Ripple has already worked so hard to be compliant and transparent, certainly in the regulatory and legal construct of things in the market. So this makes sense, right? Then we know Bitnomial press release in October 24 told us something very, very special. Bitnomial's approach to bringing offshore trading models into the U.S. derivatives industry presents a significant market opportunity as they establish a compliant derivatives market for digital assets, such as XRP, alongside their planned use of real USD for settlement. Bitnomial is setting a new standard for the industry. Now, you ready for this? Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, who will be joining Bitnomial's board, commented on the investment. Ripple is proud to lead the investment round, supporting a company at the forefront of reshaping the future of regulated derivatives market. Bitnomial's approach to bringing offshore trading models into the U.S. derivatives industry presents a significant market opportunity as they establish a compliant derivatives market for digital assets such as XRP, alongside their planned use for real USD for settlement. Bitnomial is setting a new standard for the industry. Listen, this is so exciting, because Brad has been involved here. He's on the board. Ripple is obviously an investor here in the company. And I remind everybody, as they explain here, that they are setting this up to reshape the future of regulated derivatives market. Remember, now we have a doorway where it's regulated to do these things. Institutions can go right here to Bitnomial to get access to real USD and XRP. And why does that matter? Well, I think it matters because Ripple bought Hidden Road to settle derivatives. Let's see. Ripple bought G Treasury that settles $12.5 trillion worth of derivatives too. Could they all go through Bitnomial to get it done now? I'm seeing a pathway. Meanwhile, it is being said here by the Center Square. The Bull Moose Project criticizes Senator Lummis over stalled crypto legislation. You don't have to read the article, but they basically say she's fumbled the ball here in getting this done in a timely fashion the way the president has wanted. Well, one has to wonder what's going to happen going forward there. The president doesn't take too kindly to people that don't perform the way he wants them to. Yeah, we'll see what's going on. It doesn't glean much in the way of exact facts at how she fumbled. They just say that she has. So maybe we'll learn more about that. But more than anything, I'm still looking for Senator Tim Scott and the week of the 17th, 18th to see if we get any kind of markup before going on Christmas break. If we don't get it, it's into the new year. That's just the way it is. But we're going to see, because that's what he has said. So we'll see. Senator Tim Scott's got more power and leverage in the Senate than Senator Lummis has. So let's see how this goes. Nonetheless, let's hear from this. This is the new SEC chair, Paul Atkins, crushing it for the second time in the seat. All U.S. markets will be on chain within 2 years. Take a quick listen. And actually, let me jump it right into here.
The gap between clearance and settlement and then delivery and payment.
The gap between clearance and settlement, delivery and payment. Bitnomial just got regulated and awarded approval to use crypto assets and stable coins like XRP, real USD. And they're looking here. The SEC chair says we got to close the gap.
Is the real introduces risk into the system.
Do you expect this is where financial services is going? Are the major banks and the brokers out there today moving increasingly toward tokenization?
Oh, absolutely. And it's the way the world will be, here in maybe not even in 10 years, maybe even a lot less time, maybe a couple of years from now. So,
wow. That is the head of the SEC chair. He's holding down the SEC chair there, Paul Atkins. Boy, big difference from him and Gary Gensler, isn't it? Boy, what a difference an election makes. Remember when Robinhood bought Bitstamp? Citadel partnered with Robinhood. Robinhood buys Bitstamp. Bitstamp is tokenizing derivatives on the XRP ledger. Citadel and Fortress raised $500 million for a $40 billion Ripple valuation because they invested in Ripple. Ray Charles could see where this is going. Lock in. I tell you, yeah, this is exciting, ladies and gentlemen. This is Vlad Tenev from Robinhood saying exactly that. I don't need to play it because the reality is, well, you know what?
A business or an institutional investor they also want access to the things we offer. You know, they want 24-hour access to the equity markets, they want industry-leading margin rates, a great customer experience. So over time, I do think you'll see us branching more out into serving other types of customers, not just retail, but also businesses and institutions. And, you know, to that end, we announced an acquisition of Bitstamp, a global crypto exchange. One of the things that's very attractive about that business is that it's not just international, but also institutional. It gets us access to an entirely new customer base that we're not directly serving today. I think we can do more and more of that over the next 10 years.
Isn't this exactly what we're hearing from the interim head of the CFTC, Caroline Pham, and the head of the SEC, Paul Atkins? Is it not what we just covered?
Launching our own derivatives exchange in the next few months. So that's something we are most excited about and really hope to cooperate closely with Ripple there as well. In final stage of integration of really some top 30 commercial banks globally on Bitstamp as a service. So these commercial banks will offer crypto through Bitstamp. So that's definitely something we are very proud of.
You should be, no doubt about it. I can tell you that. That's amazing. And then let's listen to this, because this is amazing too. The New York Stock Exchange president, Lynn Martin, says 2026 will be big for IPOs. Take a listen to this. This is quite powerful.
2026. Everybody's super excited. We just talked to Keith. He
It's going to be a big year.
It's going to be a big year.
It's going to be a big year.
I think so.
You know, the year
Specifically in the first half, listen.
was going really, really well, and then you had various events such as Liberation Day. In the beginning of the year, that sort of shut the window, the IPO window, but obviously it reopens.
We were here.
How we met you guys, here we are. And then the government shutdown temporarily closed the market as well. So a variety of our deals have now pushed into January. But January, it's going to be a busy January. It's going to be a really busy Q1. And now it feels like momentum, because that narrative is out there, and these deals are going to go early in the new year. Momentum's truly building for the rest of 2026. But you got to remember, you got midterms at the end of 26.
Oh, yeah. How have midterms historically impacted just like whether or not it's kind of the window's open or closed?
Probably for a couple weeks before, the window will be shut for a bit of time, because people are going to, they're going to be, they're not going to want to go when there's potential volatility in the market. And anytime you have a large group of elections or a monumental election like the election for a president, you're not going to want to go just before, because you just don't know what's going to happen around that election period.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is the president of the New York Stock Exchange right there. And let's leave with a little bit of this from Sal Gilberti. I played yesterday. You know, look, I mean, when I look at 2026 and what the president of the NYSE is saying, we know that not all of those companies are going to be fintech companies or companies in the crypto space, but you know a good portion are. They've been on the sidelines for years because of Gary Gensler suppressing in the previous administration. There are tons of companies that want to go public. So then it comes down to, do we get the market infrastructure bill early in January to allow some of those companies that will be on that list to, in fact, go public and take advantage of the bullish momentum of legislation being passed? So this is a critical window to watch. And let us not forget, the president has said we got 20 trillion plus coming into this economy in the new year in the United States. In the United States. And what do we hear the plan for the golden age is? AI and market infrastructure. So brace yourselves. We don't know where this is going, but I have a feeling Sal Gilberti has a good point of view on exactly what we could see after the Clarity Act is passed.
I think the potential for real adoption is more than potential, is being adopted. Ripple has worked diligently. They're very professional over there. They are single-minded in their purpose, and they are building the rails, as they say, across the entire global financial system for the XRPL, so the XRP ledger, to be used. And of course, you use XRP on the ledger, you use RLUSD, which is their stable coin on the ledger. And all the banks, once the Clarity Act is passed, I think you're going to see use of that ledger explode.
There you have it right there, ladies and gentlemen. From Sal Gilberti himself. Shout out to him and Tucrium. And shout out to each and every one of you. I'm super grateful for everybody here that supports the channel. And I just want to say that I'm super grateful. I appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in and listening every day. It means the world to me and my family. I don't take it for granted. I hope you have a happy weekend with you and your family and friends. And I will catch all of you on the next one. Not financial advice from me or anyone else.